This isn't your typical outdoor show. It's not about how great one outdoorsman is. You won't find any of these guys hanging over food plots or obsessing over the size of a wreck. What you will see is the heart of a certain group bringing you real stories about real people. We call them real sportsmen. Real Sportsman is brought to you by CW Reps, Precision Powder and Blast, and Line Light.
We're here in Spokane Airport, and we're gonna go pick up Matt Lively. His plane should be getting here in the next few minutes, so we'll pick him up. This will be his first time hunting in Idaho, and we have a very small time window to try to accomplish a bear and a turkey if possible. Either one I'll take, but so we'll see. But hopefully God shows us a little bit of favoritism.
I'm Matt Lively. I'm 32 years old. I'm from Susanville, California. On May 24th, 2018, I was in a single car motorcycle accident where I lost my leg. It was around 6:15 in the morning. I was on my way to work, where I work at a prison, and I was on a highway, and somebody that I happened to know pulled out onto the highway that did not see me and T-boned me from my right side. I flew over the hood of the car, but before I flew over, my bike pinned my right leg in between the car and my motorcycle, and as I flew over, my right leg at the knee was amputated on site. I was very fortunate. The first two people on me were nurses. They were on their way to work and on their way home from work because it was a shift change. So they were able to put a tourniquet on me within probably the first minute after the accident happened, which is absolutely insane and unheard of, and ultimately really saved my life. December 2017, so about 6 months before my accident, I fought in Reno for King of the Cage. After my accident, they flew me to Renown Hospital, which is in Reno, Nevada, which is 80 miles southeast of Susanville. I went in for my final surgery, where they ultimately cut my femur back about 3 to 4 inches because there wasn't enough skin and tissue to sew me up, so they cut me back. Never hunted bear or turkey. I've heard mixed reviews about turkey hunting through the years. I've had some people say, oh, they're dumb birds, they're the easiest thing to kill. I've had some people say, oh, they're smart, they see, don't let them fool you.
The last thing I want is this trip to be a waste for him. That would be a lot of people help put in for this whole thing, and Sean and Mandy Carr really stepped up to the plate to make sure that Matt could get here, and they own Freesia ice cream, and I tell you what, those are people that got good hearts, and they want to bring good stories to what we have going on. So
on planes, cars. I've got Matt for 3 days to try to put him in front of a bear or a turkey. But before we can head out, we've got a little bit of shopping to do.
Okay, this is your license, you wanna go ahead and put a signature on there.
What do I say? Above it?
Yes, right above the line.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
You too. All right, Jerry.
And every good trip requires a stop at your local sporting goods store. And of course, it never hurts to have some real Sportsman swag. The only thing worse than a woman in a shoe store is a sportsman in a sporting goods store with a credit card. They will buy everything that they don't need.
Hold
Sean's money. Thanks again, Sean. Thanks again. Sean's got turkey loads now.
With the shopping now done, it's time to get a quick bite to eat before we set out for our evening hunt.
What's the special here?
We have a fish sandwich and we have fish and chips and chowder for $14.95.
Fish sandwich.
Yes.
Fish sandwich. Fish sandwich.
We're already starting to see game. But we can go through Bayview, we'll see turkeys. Always do. Never fails.
With the late start to the day, the only thing we really can do is cruise the hillsides and hope that we find a roaming bear who may be out looking for grass or any type of winter kill.
How washed out? How early is the washout? You should be fine to go up a ways up there. Back over on the paper side.
Oh yeah! Got a hold of it.
You gotta expose the $150 million leg.
Expose it?
You gotta expose the leg. Yeah, do it.
Stay up.
Tie that. You got it, dude.
There we go.
Bionica.
Oh yeah!
See?
Right.
Whoa! It's in the pond!
We hooked her, but we hit it.
It's a two-stroke, dude. It's right.
We successfully Happy Gilmore'd the crap out of the hillsides, so the only option left was to catch him dinner at a local favorite. Built in 1880, the Snake Pit is the oldest restaurant in Idaho. It's day 2. We're headed out to some state land that's going to be a lot easier for Matt to be able to get around, and it's also loaded with turkey. As we rounded the hilltop, birds began to scatter.
There he goes. 2.
Like a scene out of a pheasant hunt, birds take flight everywhere. Not long after, we find ourselves on a gated road looking for a second set of birds. How many times have you said to yourself, if I just would have waited one more minute? And this would be that moment. We've chased these birds around till midday. Unfortunately, we've had 3 missed opportunities and we just weren't able to get close enough or seal the deal. All the birds have caught us off guard and we just weren't prepared. It's now time to go to plan B. The day before Matt arrived, I was contacted by a guy who actually wanted to help us out and give us access through his land to some state property. Hopefully, our luck will change and we can get Matt a little closer to pulling the trigger.
But one flew from out of there, so.
They're up there. I
They
know
are.
they're up.
They are.
My biggest thought process wasn't, pulling the trigger and being able to miss or hit an animal. I was pretty comfortable with that. It was definitely the unknown, the X factor of getting up and down mountains. I knew that was part of the game, but the hills is definitely uneven ground, the steep ledges, and I didn't really even practice. I just told myself I'm going to tackle it when it comes, and sure as can be, it's just kind of what we did.
And once again, the birds keep eluding us. At this point, I'm really not sure we're gonna get a shot. We're here in Blanchard, Idaho. I received a tip from a few of the hunters about one of Blanchard's oldest residents who just so happens to have a large piece of property that he allows hunters to hunt on.
Well, it's been in the family since 1883. My granddad was the very first settler in the valley. And I've been here all my life, and I'm 93, so we have that sign-up sheet on the door. People just leave their name and their license plate on their car. They sign up for various things, so if they're hunting or fishing or whatever, make a little note of it. Well, there's about 3,000 acres in this property. My logger would be just as happy if we didn't let anybody on the place. But I don't think it's right to tie up all this land and hog it for ourselves. God made it, I didn't.
We no sooner got on the property, and it was game on. And if you haven't noticed by now, when it comes to turkey calling, I have a bachelor's degree in terrible. These birds are too far for us to be able to shoot with a shotgun, and between my calling, it's really not paying off any. It doesn't take these birds long to where they go ahead and hike it into the tree line. It's not long after that, Matt and I spot what we think is the bird we're really after. This Tom is with a hen. He's still too far out of reach for us to be able to shoot, and we have nothing between us and the bird other than one pine tree. We're stuck with no place to go. After 40 minutes, the Tom walks off, showing no interest and not a care in the world. Success for Matt wasn't about pulling the trigger. Success was surviving a motorcycle crash and getting your leg torn off just to hop on a plane to some unknown destination to try something and to climb hills as if it's Everest. And don't worry, Matt will be back in the fall to try to go ahead and seal the deal on his tags.
For more information, log on to realsportsmantv.com.